agents. Beautifully said, doctor. When a landlord gives this broker a listing to work on, I don't want to say most of them, but I don't feel like the feedback or the updates are being done properly on the weekly basis. Like, what is the perfect formula? Let's say I gave this guy my property. On what basis he should update me, and how we should work together?
Okay, this is one of the biggest, pains of the sellers in Dubai. Until I give you the listing, you're on my case. You keep calling me, you keep following up with me. But once the listing is given to you, you disappear.
You will follow.
Yeah.
The landlord will follow the agent.
4 weeks, 6 weeks, I have to call you and say, what's happening with my property? Now, why? Let's first understand why brokers don't get back to them. The first, they probably took a listing at a price that is not realistic, so even they know that there's no one they can bring to him. They've simply taken it to park there and show that they have a large number of listings. And because I already know that there is no potential buyer that I would in my right senses bring for that, they've gone invisible on you. That's the first reason. The second reason is the broker himself might be very reactive in his approach. Typically what 80% of the market does is they take a listing, they take a few nice pictures about it, they'll put it on a few portals, and then they wait for the leads to come. That's reactive marketing. But that's passive marketing. But in active marketing, we become aggressive. We will list, because 97% of the buyers start their search online before they move offline to work with a broker. I don't want to miss that 97%. So I will list on those portals. However, I will spend an hour, 2 hours every day talking to 5, 10, 15 brokers, 15 buyers in the community, actually asking them if they would be interested in looking at your property. That's when I'm able to come with more credible feedback. Now there's a third point to this. Let's say it is listed and for some reason you haven't been able to get people to contact you. It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You should make it a principle that every 3 days you should give a call to the seller.
Even if you don't have any offer or
no offer. See, sell your effort. I may not have the buyer. Even if I'm working to find a buyer, but I'm not in touch with the seller, in the seller's mind, nothing is happening.
You're not active.
So sell your effort. Call up Anthony and say, Anthony, hope things are good with you today. Anthony, the reason I'm calling you is I just wanted to tell you what's been happening in the last 3 days. I've spoken with X and with Y. I got a couple of offers, but they were really quite low compared to what we're looking for, which is the reason why I didn't follow up on them. But I've also spoken to 2 other brokers who have some buyers who are interested. I'll give you a call every 3 days just to let you know. Now, what are the advantages? The first thing is you set yourself apart from most brokers because the landlord actually is surprised. Every 3 days, this broker is actually calling me. Every 3 days. I don't have, and he's selling at least his effort. I don't have to guess what's happening. The second thing that happens is after 2-3 calls have happened, a familiarity builds with this broker. I'm now used to picking up his call. I'm used to having conversations. When people have conversations 4 or 5 times, they're more willing to accept and adjust with each other. At some point, you might want to look at a price adjustment or elongating the opportunity window for the client. When you have to make such suggestions, they're more open to listening to you because you have justified making that statement because you've been showing them what you're doing. When you don't stay in touch with me for 4 weeks and then you tell me, you know what, I think we need to do a price adjustment, on the basis of what? So you build the relationship, which is very important because you have to set them up to be open to a suggestion from your side. So that's the reason why I absolutely think they must keep in touch. Constantly sell your effort even if you don't have the buyer.
Let's say that in this scenario where even the listing is like well priced, but for some reason, sometimes sometimes some things happen, it doesn't sell. When should the broker start telling this landlord that, in my own opinion, I think we should drop the price if you're willing to move it and you're in a rush, or else we keep it? Like after 3 weeks, 1 month, 1 month and a half, in your opinion, what will be the fair?
Okay, I think this idea needs to be seeded in the beginning. In the beginning. If I don't seed it in the beginning, I'm giving the unconscious suggestion, relax, I'm going to find somebody. Because I'm not going to suggest it. So when you give such a suggestion, you never talk about words like dropping the price, price reduction. These are words that nobody likes. The word we would adjust. We would do a price adjustment schedule. But the way to do it is when you present these, you have to use the third party approach. So Anthony, from our experience, we found that the opportunity window for homes in your area, when priced correctly, is usually between week 2 and week 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with this price. I'm going to share with you my active marketing campaign, what all we're going to do. I'm going to give you updates every 3 days. Let's monitor the market very carefully, which is why I'll call you every 3 days. If we find for whatever reason, the effort has been done, but we're not able to get someone in that, let's look at extending your opportunity window from 4 weeks to 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And the way to do that would be considering an adjustment to the pricing, which we don't need to do now. We'll look at that later. Let's optimize week 2 and 4. But if we don't have a strategy beyond week 4, the opportunity window is going to shift from you to the buyer. Because the buyers who are also aware with their brokers that there's an opportunity window of week 2 to 4, how come this home hasn't moved? So the leverage moves to their side. So the opportunity window shifts. So to keep it with you, we will look at a couple of strategies to extend the opportunity window so it stays with you. But we don't need to worry about that for now. So when you seed them with this, they recognize that they're working with someone who has experience, someone who's honest, someone who's really thinking about getting their home sold, who's already said, I'm going to give you feedback. Every 3 days, let's put our finger on the pulse. And later when you are, and since you've made those calls every 3 days, at some point when you have to agree an adjustment, they're actually open to discuss this with you.
They will feel comfortable
Absolutely.
because like it's proven that you've done the work, but we need to do something, change it.
Sell your effort.